Lindsay returned by midnight, helped Alex into bed, and left for the night. Just keep your eyes closed, Alex thought, no matter what happens. Alex repeated his mantra again and again as he slowed his heart and relaxed, but insomnia and random muscle spasms derailed the process. He would just begin fading into sleep. Nighttime sounds muted as though soothing water was flooding his ears. Then his finger or foot would twitch. Such twitches went almost unnoticed during active daytimes, but at night that same little twitch was like the violent tremor of an electrical shock. Alex's eyes would pop open as his heart jumped with a sudden start, leaving him at square one. Just keep your eyes closed, Alex thought, no matter what happens. To achieve sleep, Alex allowed his mind to wander until it was immersed in the vivid silence of senseless dreams. But he was still energized by his late-night run, still terrified of the chance he took stopping that monstrous truck. Yet, alongside the thrill, was an equally intense sense of introspection. Just keep your eyes closed, the words rolled across his mind, no matter what happens. Alex spent his childhood as a human ping-pong ball, bouncing back and forth between home and hospitals. He had been sliced into so often, counting the occasions was similar to playing a slot machine that always offered different numbers. Those surgeries were intended to minimize his disability. Instead, they became the fodder on which his disability flourished. For a brief time, Alex had been very angry about how much he had lost. Within 6 months, the independence of feeding himself, holding a drinking cup, even sitting on a toilet, had either vanished like steam into open air, or become so restricted, Alex felt like a shackled prisoner whose bindings were being callously tightened. But he was not angry anymore, mostly because the anger was as productive as nursing a grudge against a burst of destructive weather. Alex was also tempered by his suspicion that the reason for all those surgeries traced back to something that happened to him when he was 4.5. Just keep your eyes closed, Alex repeated to himself as his thoughts separated like yogurt and his earliest childhood memory came to the top. No matter what happens. The images playing through his memory were blurred, as though viewed from behind a window fogged by winter frost. Memories of doctors and nurses and medical technicians and men in expensive suits, most of whom Alex neither knew nor saw again. All of them standing in a lab of tremendous space, where sounds floated about as mere echoes of unseen phantoms on unseen errands, and light so intense its glare burned through closed eyelids. The room's mood was tight as an overtaxed steel cable, with Alex standing upright in a brace of some kind, while all those people watched him like an audience awaiting a performer's opening move. He remembered a sound echoing from the side, like rocks being quickly tapped together, and Alex always had the impression of a technician of some sort punching keys on a keyboard. He remembered his forehead becoming fevered, burning as though an uncomfortably hot roller was being run along his brow. A voice spoke then, one whose deep tones could comfort Alex like a squeeze on his shoulder if he was ever frightened. or intimidate like an authoritative shove if its subordinates failed to perform. It was the voice of Dr. Alan Lassiter, the orthopedic surgeon who began heading up Alex's surgical needs 23 years ago. Lassiter gave Alex an instruction, but his voice kept cutting out as though he was holding a microphone with a faulty cord. Alex focused on Lassiter, and the doctor's voice finally came through. Dr. Lassiter told Alex to move his right hand and arm. Alex recalled looking at his hand as he complied, remembered the prickly shiver the sight inspired within him. The fingers were loose and relaxed, the hand and arm steady, and when he moved them, they moved naturally. But they disturbed Alex in that they looked like someone else's body parts, sewn onto his shoulder as replacements for his own. The doctor then instructed Alex to move his left hand and arm, and perform various motions with both limbs. Lassiter's voice echoed like a distant rumble of thunder as he said something to someone Alex could not see. The brace holding him was carefully removed, and the audience stared hypnotically as Alex stood on his own, liberated from his strings by the wave of a medical wand. Dr. Lassiter then gave one final instruction, the rumble of his voice still mild, but louder, as though a distant storm was growing nearer. Alex remembered taking that one single step. He remembered the laughter, smiles, and congratulations it inspired. He remembered Dr. Lassiter's face, its pride melting Alex's uncertainty with its warmth. Smiling back, Alex lifted his other foot for a second step and flailed to the floor as though he were a flimsy piece of cloth, battered by the winds of a hurricane. The storm that had been heralded by Lassiter's echoing voice had broken over the shore that was Alex's body with unholy might. After that, all Alex remembered was screaming, and that he was the one who was screaming. He remembered terror and agony, but his screams had no sound, only the impression of an echo that did not seem human. His memory of the pain was even more tenuous, a mere wisp of smoke in the wake of an extinguished fire. Those memories had remained as constant as the earth's speed around the sun, but were fluid enough that Alex sometimes questioned if they were true. Now Alex was certain the memories were true. His cat-like abilities were proof enough of that.